This is Sarah Stalker, a Democrat from the Kentucky State Legislature, and she suffers from a tremendous amount of white guilt. And she wants your children to suffer too. Here she is pushing for DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. She wants to push those policies in school. Here she is.
I'm going to be honest. I don't feel good about being white every day for a lot of reasons. Because it's a point of privilege that I get to move through the world in a way that so many of my other colleagues and friends and family members of the community don't get the privilege to do. And I'm just a female, but just a woman, just a white woman. If I was a white man, I would be functioning from a point of an even greater privilege. I think we're missing an opportunity when kids have a moment to reflect about how the color of their skin does and does not allow them to move through the world. Running to them and trying to stifle that and trying to say you shouldn't feel bad, so we don't want to ever expose you to something that is going to make you have to pause and have maybe some internal feelings. It's a missed opportunity for some really good dialogue.
And that's how you end up with young white men turning to divisive figures like Nick Fuentes. They're growing up with people like Sarah Stalker telling them that they're the source of everyone else's problems and they're advantaged, even though they're having to deal with the same problems as everyone else. This lady reminded me of Rahm Emanuel. He's the former Obama chief of staff. He was mayor of Chicago. He used to say, never let a good crisis go to waste, basically saying that don't miss a chance for government intervention into a problem. And she said, Sarah Stalker says in the video, she never wants to miss an opportunity to highlight and exploit racial differences and point that out. She's like the Rahm Emanuel of DEI. She wants white children to feel bad, just like she does, feel guilty because of the color of their skin. She wants minorities like blacks, Hispanics, Asians, and women to feel like victims. Because she pointed out that she's privileged as a white woman, but if she were a white man, she'd be able to do whatever she wanted. And this entire narrative is false. And it's using the emotional manipulation of children to push an agenda, to call out white kids and tell them that they have an inherited collective guilt for something that they have no control over. You're telling young minority children that white men are the source of all their problems and are actually preventing them from achieving anything. Essentially, basically setting them up so they can use anything as an excuse for failure or hardship that they're going to encounter. Regardless of race or skin color in the United States, you have the same access and opportunity as everyone else. Now, of course, this isn't true regarding economic status. Of course, wealthier people are going to have more access and opportunities than poor people, but that's not because of race. There are millions of poor white people in this country, and while they're eligible for numerous of the government welfare programs, they're not eligible for other programs that were specifically designed to provide assistance to minorities. But whatever perceived benefits that a white person has in the country due to its racist history, which I would argue is a better history against other countries' treatment of minorities, it's still not a justification to want white people to feel bad about an institution that they didn't actively participate in or have any control over. The more people like Sarah Stalker push this DEI agenda, the more we're divided and move towards a society based on identity politics. The goal should be a society without racial divisions, but that doesn't fit in with their neo-Marxist political agenda designed to keep us fighting with each other instead of uniting against the corrupt, deep state-run federal government that's destroying our country and selling us all out. And I want to end the video on, I'm going to paraphrase a Thomas Sowell quote, which, if you don't know who Thomas Sowell is, he's an economist and a social commentator. But Thomas Sowell basically said, you cannot operate on the principle that people living today are responsible for what their ancestors did in centuries past. That is a principle that can tear any society apart, especially a multi ethnic society like the United States. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for your support. Have a good day.